What's up guys, it's Sophie. So as you can tell by the title of this video, this is not a normal video that I do, but I decided to make a rant video and I'm sorry that this is going up on Sunday. This is my second time filming this video and I just didn't know what to say, so I was just like, okay, that was a mess, let me just delete it and then refilm it on Sunday. So basically, if you follow me on my social media, like Instagram, mainly Instagram, sometimes Twitter, like both basically, and on this channel, you would know that I'm very open and I voice my opinions a lot about social issues, specifically Black social issues in the Black community, racial issues, things like that, because those are the issues that I can relate with the most. So this is what this video is going to be about. Today I'm going to be talking about the N-word and like stigma around it and why people who are not Black should not be using that word. I say this whenever I'm going to talk about something controversial. If you don't like controversial videos, you don't have to watch. Like, nobody's forcing you to. Like, X out, unsubscribe, like I don't care. So yeah, that's basically it. If you're interested in these things, then keep watching. That's it. So without further ado, let's get started. So basically, if you are not Black and you use the N-word, notice how I'm not saying white, I'm literally just saying not Black. So that's simple. If you are not Black and you use the N-word, you're most likely going to get backlash. The number one excuse that people will come up with of why they can use it is,
well, it's not even a slur anymore, it's basically a curse word, so I can use it.
That is completely and utterly just incorrect. Like, I can't even explain to you how false that is. The N-word has a historical context that will just never go away. It was created as a way to keep Black people in their place. When Black people were taken from Africa to become slaves, they were raped and beaten, sold and bought and tortured, killed. White people use the N-word as a word of oppression. That historical context will just never be erased. It just won't. Also, if it was just a curse word, then there wouldn't be as much stigma around the N-word as there is. News articles like New York Daily News wouldn't be making articles about white people or non-Black people, like Madonna, for example, using the N-word in an Instagram post if it was just a curse word. So that's like not even a defense. Like, I don't know where you got that from, but that's just not the case. The second defense that people always use is,
well, if Black people can say the N-word, then why can't non-Black people say the N-word?
If I had $1 for every single time a non-Black person said this as a defense of why they could use the N-word, like, do you know how rich I would be? When you say that, it's just like the amount of ignorance is too much. First of all, not all Black people are the same. Not all Black people use the same language. I don't use the N-word because I just don't. I don't use that in my everyday vocabulary. But some Black people do. Some Black people use the N-word now as a term of endearment, as a way to reclaim the word and to change the meaning of it, because Black people were oppressed by white people using the N-word against them for so long that Black people today reclaim the word or the slur as their own and change the meaning of it. That's great. Like, no problem. If you're Black and you do that, like, great. I will never be able to do that. I just cannot see that word as a term of endearment. But if you're Black and you do that, great. Like, nothing against you, awesome, have fun. But when it comes to non-Black people and they use that word, they don't even have to use it in a derogatory way. They could just be like, well, I'm using it as like a term of endearment too. That doesn't work like that. Like, what are you doing? There's nothing for you to reclaim and change the meaning of as your own. That's completely illogical. It's sort of like an in-group and out-group type of thing. If you're in a certain group, then there's some words that are socially acceptable for you to say, and if you're not part of that group, then it just doesn't work that way. You just can't say it. You're not gonna get arrested for saying the N-word if you're not Black, but it's like, prepare to be judged so hard by so many people, because like, it's not just a curse word. It's not just a word for you to just say as if it means nothing. It doesn't matter if you're like using it as a term of endearment. You have no business of changing the meaning of the word and using it in your everyday language. Another reason why it just like bothers me so much when non-Black people say that.
Why can Black people say it but white people can't? That's not fair.
Not fair, like, okay. Not fair. People who shouldn't be using the N-word, aka non-Black people, they don't care about fairness within the Black community, like within all the racial communities. They don't care about fairness. If you say that and say like, oh, it's not fair, you don't care about fairness. You just can't handle the fact that there's a certain word that's socially unacceptable for you to be saying. Doesn't matter if it's in a song, doesn't matter if you're not even calling anybody that, just you specifically saying the word is not socially acceptable. Like, don't don't do it. If you actually cared about fairness within racial communities, you wouldn't be worrying so much about one specific word, but instead you'd be worrying about things like police brutality or injustice within the Black community or blatant racism and oppression. That's you caring about fairness within racial communities. 90% of non-Black people who use the N-word, like in my experience, not everywhere, just in my experience, 90% of those people do not care about fairness at all. They just are looking at it as one group can say something and I can't, that's not fair, I want to be able to say it too. And then the rest of the people either have like a Black best friend that doesn't care that they say it, so then they're just like, well, my Black friend says that I can say it, so I can, which is a different, like entirely different story, and I don't even have the mental energy to get into that right now, so we're just gonna move on. And then also other people that say that word too that are non-Black just want to relate to the Black community. I will never understand that. They just want to relate to the Black community, so they often call Black people that word is like a term of endearment. Like, no, don't. Just don't. Like, I'm judging you so hard and so are so many other people. Just don't. That doesn't work because you are not Black. And then the last point that I want to talk about is that if you are not Black and you are arguing with a Black person about what is or isn't offensive to a Black person, you've lost. Like, you're just done. Your opinion is invalid. You are done. You can't not be Black and then tell me as a Black person what is and isn't offensive to a Black person. Your opinion is invalid because you've never dealt with Black oppression before if you're not Black. And it's not just Black people too. Like, for example, take people in the LGBT community. I'm straight. I have no business arguing with a gay person about what is and isn't homophobic. Because if you're straight, you've never dealt with homophobia before. Like, your opinion is just invalid. So if a gay person tells you, oh, that's homophobic, it is. You can't argue about it. You can't be like, no, actually, like, this is homophobic. How would you know what homophobia is if you've never dealt with it before? It's the same exact thing with being Black. How are you gonna know what's offensive to a Black person if you're not Black? It's such simple logic. I don't understand why people like argue when somebody says like, oh, can you please not say the N-word? That's offensive. Then they just like keep arguing like, actually, no, it's not offensive. This is offensive to Black people. This is offensive. Like, how are you gonna tell me that? How are you gonna tell me that if you're not Black? Also, even if you are Black, I just wanted to point out that even if you don't find something offensive, another Black person can find it offensive. You may think that a white person saying the N-word is completely fine, but some Black people, actually no, a lot of Black people don't think that. They think that it is offensive. So I just wanted to like remind you that just because you're Black, you do not speak on the entire Black race. And I know that myself. I know that some Black people have no problem with any race saying the N-word, but some Black people do. So nobody can speak on their entire race. It's just a matter of just accepting the fact that there are some things that you will just never understand. I, as a straight person, will never understand how homophobia feels. I will never understand that because I'm straight, and that's something that I have to accept and have accepted. Like, just, I'll never understand that. And if you're not Black, you will never understand what is offensive to a Black person. You will never understand that if you are not Black. Also, non-Black people, is it really that hard to just say the literal words, the N-word? Why do you have to say the actual N-word? You don't. And you shouldn't. Just putting that out there. So that is basically it for this video. Like, I don't have any other points that I want to cover. Definitely comment down below. Please actually comment down below and talk about like your opinions on this, how you feel about the topic, stuff like that. Try it as hard as you can to argue in the comment section, because that has happened on some of my previous ranting videos. So just don't argue. Just, if you disagree with someone, disagree with them. Don't like argue. Don't try to be civil. I don't know if this video was a mess. I planned out what I was gonna say. In the first video that I tried filming, I did not plan anything out. I just pressed record and then started speaking. I didn't plan anything out, so that was a mess. So hopefully this video was a little bit like organized. It wasn't that messy. But even if it was, I did put links to a bunch of like really simple, like easy to understand articles about basically what I'm saying, but in much greater detail. So yeah, I will have a bunch of articles. Like, if you still need like clarification on what I'm talking about, all of that stuff, it will be in the description box. Give this video a thumbs up if you agreed with it, or you could relate to anything that I'm saying. Sorry again that this didn't go up on Saturday. I was a mess on Saturday with this video. I was really a mess. It was nasty. It was messy. So that's basically it. I love you all so much, and I will see you this Tuesday with another new video. Bye! So this is my bag. This is my school bag. I got it for my birthday from my friend. This bag is from 9 West, and it's just this regular plain black bag, 2 straps, and it has a zipper, but I have so many books in it that I can't even zip.